Mga kaibigan, good morning po. Good morning sa inyo lahat at napakaganda po natin pag-usapan sa programa ni Vice Mayor Attorney Faustino Olowan. We're going to be talking about usapang nursing and midwifery. Ang ating bisita po ngayon, ang ating po mga professors ng BCU, College of Nursing and School of Midwifery. And we would like to welcome to the radio station Ma'am Eileen Rafael and Sir Hilario Sanglay. Good morning po. Ma'am, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Kumusta na po kayo dyan? Ayan. Sir, ma'am, baka gusto niyo pong batiin ang ating mga kaibigan po ngayon sa BCU before we start po.
Good morning po sa lahat, sa mga 97.52 listeners po.
Maraming salamat.
BCU, School of Midwifery.
Good morning to everyone. On behalf of BCU, Baguio Central University, we greet you rainy morning. Have a good one for the rest of the day.
Oo nga po, maulan ho talaga, Sir Hilario. Yan, kung meron po kayong mga katanungan po about nursing and midwifery, ito po maganda mga trabaho po ngayon, napakaganda po at sasagutin pong lahat po yan ng ating mga professors po na galing po sa BCU. Ma'am Eileen, ano po ang trabaho ng isang midwife po, ma'am? Yan, question para kay Ma'am Eileen. Ayan, Ma'am Eileen, ano pong trabaho ng isang midwife po sa ospital, Ma'am Eileen?
They have upgraded. Before po kasi, ang mga midwives, nursing aid po ang item nila. But now, na-upgrade po sila. Meron pang midwife 1, 2, and 3 po. 4, hanggang 4 po. As well as sa community po.
Okay, so Ma'am Eileen, yung ating mga midwives po, no, sila po yung nagpapaanak ko ba? Tama ba yan, Ma'am Eileen?
Yes po, sir. Actually, in the community, meron na silang lie-in clinic sa health center.
Wow, galing naman po. At
Yes.
Sir Hilario, ano po ang trabaho ng isang nurse po, sir?
When it sa ating pag-ang nurse, or because we are involved in education, nursing education, is different when you are working in a hospital setting. So primarily, a nurse will take care of a patient, will render patient care, but it is in collaboration with a doctor. So a nurse cannot function on his or her own, not unless it is an independent nursing responsibility that he or she would be rendering to. But in the hospital setting, we have that independent nursing responsibilities that we can render to a patient. But considering our situation primarily right now, so a nurse will function in collaboration with the order of the doctor. So he or she cannot function on her own or his own. But when it comes to nursing education, primarily we cater to teaching students and prepare them for to practice the nursing profession in such a way that it would reflect the excellence that we have here in the Philippines, and at the same time it would be a reflection of the competence that they have gained in the university. And I think that is all that I can share when it comes to that question, sir.
Sir Hilario, is it true po, sir, na meron po tayong high employment demand for nurses, most especially by next year? 2022, marami na po nagpapirate po ngayon ng mga countries ng ating mga Philippine nurses.
I think so, 100%. I will say that I agree with that 100%, because with what is happening right now, and you are aware of it, and everyone is aware of it, that all over the world there are nurses and even doctors who lost their lives rendering care to a COVID patient. So the demand, I agree with what you have, what they are saying, not only in the Philippines but worldwide, that the demand is on the rise when it comes to healthcare professionals, not only in the nursing profession.
So congratulations to our nursing students and our midwives students. Ma'am Eileen, mahirap po bang magpaanak, ma'am? Kunyari, sa operating room po tayo, ma'am. How tedious po yung magpaanak sa isa pong nanay po, ma'am? How delicate po, ma'am?
Yes, we have to be
very careful in handling the delivery of the baby. Because we're dealing two lives, that is for the mother and for the baby. So we have to be very, very careful in handling the delivery.
Okay. And ma'am, how many years po yung course na midwifery po, ma'am?
Okay. Meron na po tayong CMO na before it was 2 years, pero meron na tayong CMO na after graduation of second year, prior to the third year, kailangan mag-board exam, pass muna ng board exam prior to third year and to fourth year po. So meron na tayong bachelor po.
Wow, ang galing po. Congratulations po. Sir Hilario, posible ho pala yung combination po, no? Nurse na at the same time midwife pa. Pwede po yun.
Yes, sir. Because in the past, we have colleagues here in the university who are nurses and at the same time registered midwives. So it works both ways. So at the same time, if you are involved in the nursing education, there will be a need for the clinical instructor to shift. It depends on the need to shift to supervise midwifery students. Then that can work together. They can work together. Or the profession that a particular person who possesses it, who is a midwife and registered midwife, and at the same time a registered nurse, it's like hitting two birds with one stone.
Yes, exactly po no? So, Ma'am Eileen, for example, ma'am, meron kasing lumabas na proposal po dati, ma'am, no? Yung board examination na po ng mga nurses. Someone was proposing to have it abolished. Yan, para po sa inyo, ma'am, would you agree with this proposal by a certain government like officer?
Mm-hmm.
Board exam?
I think that's the answer to that, sir.
Yan, Sir Hilario, sa tingin niyo, sir?
Can you come again, sir? Because it was not. The question was not directed to me, so I was not paying attention.
So sorry, sir.
Okay. Yes. Okay, can you repeat it for me? Can you come again, sir?
Yes, sir. Sir, there was a publication about nurses group reject proposal to abolish board exams. Para po sa inyo po, sir, tingin nyo, sir, kailangan i-abolish na natin yung board exam para sa mga nurses? Kasi ang sabi po ng isang proponent po dito, 4 years po, pinag-aralan na po natin ng mga about nursing. Bakit kailangan pa rin mag-exam samantalang ginagawa na to? Meron pa tayong qualifying exams, tapos ba't kailangan pa mag-board exam? What do you think po, sir?
I think it is, for me personally, I think it's impossible to have a professional nurse without taking the board exam, because even registered nurse, even for me, if I would speak accordingly based on my experience, it will be impossible for me to practice the nursing profession without passing the nursing board exam, because it will not assure me of any success in the practice of my nursing profession when it comes to rendering quality and excellent nursing care, and at the same time when you are talking uh, when I would consider myself to be a competent nurse. So it will be like, it's not just about practicing or rendering care, but you need to have a you need to be certified that people would really say that you are able to render the necessary care that they need. So I think to abolish the board exam, it will be impossible. That will be a compromise when it comes to the nursing profession as a whole, when it comes to rendering quality and excellent nursing care.
Thank you po,
So I
sir.
think that's
Mabuhay ang mga nurses po natin, ating mga certified, eligible, and of course licensed nurses. Ma'am Eileen, sa midwifery po ma'am, ano po yung, kunyari, meron bang qualifying na sa isang midwife, isang estudyante after graduation, na that student would be allowed to practice the field? Ano po yung pinakakuan po niya, dinadaanan po ng estudyante ma'am?
Sorry sir, hindi masyadong marinig. Sorry po.
Ayan, ma'am. And our midwives po, ma'am, kunyari natapos po ako ng midwifery po, ma'am. Ano po yung, is there an examination that I have to take for me to be allowed to practice midwifery? Kasi sa mga nurses po, meron po silang board exam. Paano naman po yung ating mga midwives po, ma'am? Ay, medyo ayan, Ma'am Eileen.
And then, since we have this bachelor, okay, so
Ayan, Ma'am Eileen, nakamute po kayo, ma'am. Ayan, nakamute po ang inyong Zoom, Ma'am Eileen. Ayun, pwede na.
Hi, sorry. Take two.
Take two po, take two.
Okay. Yes, in midwifery, we have also licensure midwifery, midwifery licensure examination. And in nursing, that is one way of qualifying the midwives. When they will go for a job or apply for a job. That because in the hospitals or in the community, if they will apply to that areas, they will look into the result of the board exam as well as their grades. Yun po.
Ayun, maraming salamat po. Sir Hilario, let's talk about now yung pagtuturo naman po. Sir Hilario, ito medyo challenging po, no, because we are in the midst of pandemic and everybody stays home. Education po natin online ho talaga. So how do you teach both synchronous and asynchronous po para po sa ating mga estudyante? Sir Hilario.
Okay, actually we are using both methods, synchronous and asynchronous. Just to share or give you a background, there was a research study that was done by our students who was under Dr. Mary Montemayor, who had their defense last week. And then part of the research study was about studying the method which was synchronous and asynchronous. But then here in the university that we are, or in the institution that we are working, we use actually the delivery blended learning, which is a combination of synchronous and asynchronous. We're in such a way in our virtual learning, that we are having with our students. So it's blended in, it means when we are talking about blended learning, it is more of interactive. It's not just about module, giving the module and then it comes, they would send it back to us and then there's no interaction, but it is a combination of both synchronous and asynchronous. So it is more of a blended learning. So the result, when it comes to the result of of that study, which was here in the university, it was there are a lot of issues that came out that we need to deal with in order to develop the way we deliver our lectures, especially because now we didn't have any hospital duty for a while. So their RLE, instead of having their hospital duty, we have to give them or use a method in such a way that it is a mixture of asynchronous and synchronous, which is what we term as blended learning. So I hope that is clear. But then, as I have said in the research study, it was found out that there are a lot of things that we need to develop when it comes to the student, the part of the student, and at the same time, the part of the clinical instructor. So we use the two methods actually. We use blended learning in the delivery of the modules, especially when it comes to the related learning experience, which they cannot have it on the hospital setting.
Thank you, Sir Hilario. Ma'am Eileen, what about what are some online applications like online apps, ma'am, that you use to maximize the learning of our students?
Sir, we have this. So at first it was difficult because we only have this messenger, and then through Zoom, so we only have that communication. And at the same time, so we give our numbers, so they will call us or they will call them for clarifications of our lectures. But now, since the Baguio Central University have this Google Classroom and Google Meet, okay, so there's a Classroom Google, so we could also
So, ma'am, we use Google Meet, Zoom also. Grabe, very techy our teachers now. All right.
yes. So kailangan alam ng gumamit ng internet ngayon.
Totoo po yan. Actually, ma'am, dati, no, nanibago talaga ako. Ano ba yung Zoom na yan? Yan pala, eto na pala ginagawa nating Zoom. Ma'am, during recitation po, paano po kayo nagpaparecite sa estudyante pag nasa online po kayo?
Yes po, we do also that, sir, because we are going to open our windows in Google Classroom per subject po. Yes, that is per subject. So we open so if the time list, for example, is 8 to 9, so we have to be ready at 8 to 9. So we're going to open 5 minutes before the class. Naka-open na po yung Google Classroom. And make sure na naka-open din yung window nila because while having a discussion, parang face-to-face, but the thing is sa Google po.
Galing
so,
po.
Nakikita yung mukha nila sa screen.
Wow. Napaka-technical. Diba, ma'am? Sir Hilario, sir, is it true na Sir Hilario, because of the pandemic, tumaas po ang population po ng ating mga nag-i-enroll po sa nursing po ngayon, sir?
I think it's not really, hindi ko masasabing talagang tumaas. But there is an increase. But not, when we are talking about increase, it's not the significant increase
Yes, sir.
that we have expected. Because before, when I was involved in the university, because I was just rehired this year, I was teaching here in Baguio Central University from 2005 until 2011, and it was only this year that I was rehired. But comparing it during those time and this time, there is a significant increase during that time, those years, way back. But during this time, there is an increase in the number of enrollees, but it's not as significant like we had in the past during the year that I have mentioned. So I
Okay.
think because it's in connection with the first question that you have addressed, that you have mentioned or asked, that was addressed, that there is really an increasing demand for healthcare professionals, not only here in the Philippines, but worldwide. And we are considered as a producing nation when it comes to healthcare.
Galing po, sir. Sir, sorry for asking, pero someone is asking, I don't know if it's confirmed. Sir, do nurses work 12-hour based on shifting? Is it true?
Uh,
Like sa
I
hospital
think
po?
yes, it's true. But then I think that is institutional.
Mm.
And they have to. It is not applicable to all because it depends on the department that you are working.
Ah, yes, sir.
And especially in the operating room, if you are in the special areas, what we consider special areas is like to mention like operating room, delivery room, emergency rooms. Those are special areas. I think in those areas they are working on a 12-hour shift. So I think it's more institutional. It depends on the institution or hospital whom what would they prefer. Yung
Okay.
iba pa nga is 1 week they go for duty and then on the other week they are off.
Mm.
So mga ganun. So hindi na kagaya ng dati, the usual, because in the usual duty or shift is 7 to 3, 3:11 and 11:07. So it's only 8 hours. So but it's true. To your question, when it comes to your question, yes, they work on a 12-hour shift.
Mabuhay po ang ating mga nurses. Ma'am, paano naman po ating mga midwives po, ma'am? Paano po yung shifting ng trabaho po nila?
Oo. Yes, sir. We will do the same doon sa because one of our students here work in a hospital here in Baguio. When I interviewed her, their shift, no, they will go through the same, no? Doon sa shift po sa nursing po, sa nursing department. 12 hours duty po, like what I have when Sir Sanglay mentioned that for this week, they will have their duty 12 hours a day. So that is for 1 week. And then for the next week, the following week, that is their off. But there's also hospital here in Baguio. They will follow the usual shift.
Hindi ho basta-basta po, no, ang buhay ng ating mga nurses and midwives. Ma'am Eileen, ano po yung what are some adjustments that you went on to implement po sa pagtuturo to be able to cater to online education? Kasi dati po, ma'am, no, chok po tayo. Ngayon po, tapos mamaya-maya, nasa bahay na lahat. Paano pong adjustments na ginawa niyo po, ma'am?
It was not so easy before because we also I myself, no, because I don't know about that internet, that Zoom, that classroom, Google Classroom. I don't know about that. So, based on my experience, I've been for 2 weeks. I've been coming back here in the school to ask for help from the MIS, and so with our dean, on how going to connect with the students. Okay, so how going to download the classroom Google. So yun po, that was a big adjustment sa pagtuturo po. But when I learn already, so I feel it's easy for me now to communicate with students through Google po. So pag mayroon kaming lectures, so I communicate them through text, through messenger, that okay, that we'll meet on this subject at this time. So yun po.
Napaka-busy talaga ng ating mga teachers po, ma'am, no? Napaka-busy talaga. Akala kasi nila, ma'am, parang, as a teacher, parang mas doble pa po yung trabaho po ng mga teachers po ngayon as compared sa face-to-face. Would you agree po, Ma'am Eileen?
Yes po, kasi with regards to the exams, okay? So unlike before, usually during the examinations, so we'll go to the classrooms, we will answer the questions for one.
Ganun lang po dati, ma'am, no? Napakadali. Yan. Anyway, salamat po, Ma'am Eileen. Sir Hilario, sir, merong proposal dati, sir, no, yung nag-broke out yung pandemic. Kasi magbo-board exam yung mga bata, magbo-board exam yung ating mga nurses. Sabi po ng isang proposal, isang politician, yung serbisyo na nire-render po nila, yun na magiging kapalit ng kanilang board exam. So automatic na meron po, there would be a license sa pagdating sa board exam. That was last year. Meron proposal po pero it never prospered. Sa tingin nyo, sir, okay ba yung kunyari? Pandemic naman tayo, nagkukulang ating mga medical personnel, ating mga nurses, tawagin po sila. Yung kanilang equivalent mismo ng kanilang board exam, yung rendered na serbisyo po nila, yung sa pandemic mismo, actual na pasyente. Ano po sa tingin nyo, Sir Hilario? Pwede kaya yun, sir?
Sa akin, sir, for me personally, because there is what we call practice and theory in the nursing profession or in the nursing education. Now, when it comes to that, as I have mentioned, theory and practice, you cannot separate theory from practice. When we are talking about licensing nurses just based on how they practice without considering their knowledge when it comes to theory or their theoretical knowledge, I think there will be an imbalance. Because theory is different from practice. It has to be combined. You cannot separate it. Some nurses would consider it as dapat practice lang. Yun ang gusto nila. May iba naman, they are geared towards theory, which is, but for me personally, you cannot, who is a professional nurse involved in the nursing education, you cannot separate theory from practice. So that is my personal viewpoint when you are talking, because the main thing here is not just about having a license as a nurse or being a registered nurse. It's a mixture of having the right knowledge when it comes to theory and at the same time being competent when it comes to practice. So it cannot both work. One cannot work without the other, and at the same time, I think you got what I mean. You cannot separate them.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. We're saying good morning to some of our listeners. They're watching. Good morning, Julius Malakdan, Albert Reyes. Good morning, and of course, we're saying good morning to dami po nakikinig. Luella, Dave, Jean Albert, Maria, Roweline, and of course, Jenica, Chris Joseph. Maraming salamat. And also, we're saying good morning to Nathaniel, and asking about some questions regarding our discussion. Sir, pakibati po, Ma'am Eileen, Sir Hilario, ating mga, yung mga estudyante po sa BCU. Yan, maaring nanonood po sila ngayon para magkaroon ata sila ng plus points galing po sa inyo. Yan.
Okay, so good morning po mga listeners natin.
Yan, medyo nag-static po, Ma'am Eileen, no? Ayan, ipag-greet po natin kay Sir Hilario. Sir, pakibati pong inyong mga estudyante po, sir.
Okay, good morning to everyone. First of all, in behalf of the Nursing College of Nursing and School of Midwifery, so we send our regards to all of the students of Baguio Central University and even alumni, especially those who recently passed the board exam. So we have, I think, what is the percentage, Ma'am Eileen, of the board exam, nursing board? Because we have a passing rate of 86%. So in the national level, so we congratulate those who just recently passed the board exam. And also we thank the Dean of the College of Nursing for giving us this opportunity to share our knowledge. So Ma'am Gina Kasi is from Itogon.
Hello, Gina. Good morning.
Special mention. And also to the president of the university and vice president and everyone else who are here teaching in the academy here in Baguio Central University. Mabuhay po, Pilipinas.
Mabuhay ang ating mga teachers. Ma'am Eileen, meron po ba kayong mga announcement, ma'am? Yan, meron po ba kayong mga reminders para sa ating mga nanonood po ngayon na galing po sa inyong eskwelahan, ma'am?
With regards to enrollment, is still going on for the enrollment until this August 14, and August 16 will be the start of classes.
Ayan, nag-freeze po ulit. Parang magkaiba yung internet ni Ma'am Eileen sa kan Sir Hilario. Tumitigil yung internet ni Ma'am Eileen. Sir Hilario, pwede niyo pong ituloy. Ayan, pwede na si Ma'am Eileen. Yes, ma'am. You can continue po, Ma'am Eileen. Pwede na.
Okay. So with regards po doon, so our enrollment is still going on until August 14. So August 16 will be the start of classes for this first semester, school year, academic year 2021-2022, as well as the graduate school. So yun po, undergraduate at saka graduate school. And no entrance exam for the first year, for the coming first years. And we would like to take this chance also to say in the radio that the face-to-face was already approved by the CHED. Limited face-to-face po. So when we say limited face-to-face, yung sa skills lab at saka duty po. Yun po. Thank you po.
Okay yan, para makita po nila kung gaano kagwapo si Sir Hilario. In person, di ba? Ayan. Mga kaibigan, as we end our radio segment po, Sir Hilario, ano pong mensahe niyo po para po sa ating mga tagapakinig, mga nanonood po ngayon sa ating radio program, Sir Hilario?
Okay. Tatawa lang ako. Sinabi mo. Okay. I think I don't have any long message for this morning as we end. So I think the only thing is that we encourage those who have not enrolled yet. We are still open, especially those who are still willing to transfer from different schools but coming to BCU. We are still open. So, and also we are trying our best to bring back the reputation of the university when it comes to being one of the top schools here, not only here in Baguio City. So I hope they will not be discouraged or in any way to enroll and consider being part of the university. So thank you very much, sir.
Salamat, Sir Hilario. Ingat po, sir. Mabuhay po kayo. And Ma'am Eileen, your message po, Ma'am Eileen.
So thank you, sir, for us in your 97.5. Okay, so in behalf of the Baguio Central University, especially College of Nursing School of Midwifery, so we are welcoming the first years and as well the transferees to Um, we assure that we give also our best, the best of the best, okay, in teaching the students or giving informations with regards to the per subjects po.
Salamat po, Ma'am Eileen, Sir Hilario. Ingat po kayo, ma'am. And,
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
and of course, mabuhay po kayo.
Thank you so much.
Batiin ho ulit natin, Sir Hilario, si Dean. Baka hindi na pakinggan yung si Dean na taga Itogon. Pakibati ulit.
Si Ma'am Eileen naman.
Ma'am Eileen, pakibati si Dean, Ma'am Eileen.
Especially po kay Ma'am Dean, si Gina.
Yan, salamat. Nag-freeze po ulit si Ma'am Eileen. No? Yan, ingat po kayo. Ma'am Gina, mabuhay po ang din po ng College of Nursing and School of Midwifery ng BCU. At si President po, binabati po natin si Dr. Cecilda, Sir Oscar Reliera, ang ating mga VPs, Dr. Dunal and Dr. Perfecto Lopez. Maraming salamat. Ayan.
Thank you po.
Ayan. Ay ma'am, hindi na kayo naka-freeze ma'am. Batiin ulit natin si Dean Gina. Ma'am, pakibati ulit si ma'am. Ayan. Ma'am, ingat po kayo Sir Hilario and Ma'am Eileen. Happy weekend. Goodbye. Thank you.
Good morning, naimbangag sa patayo amin.
Halina't samahan natin ang Isangguni mo kay Vice Mayor Atty. Olowan, co-hosted by Mr. G. Iba't ibang sektor ng lipunan ang ating matutunghayan, kaya't ating pakinggan dahil ang mamamayan ay ang puso ng sambayanan. Sa Isangguni mo kay Vice Mayor Atty. Olowan,
We will have a peaceful nation.
tuwing Sabado, alas 10 ng umaga hanggang alas 12 ng tanghali sa Cool 97.5 Baguio at live streaming sa Facebook at YouTube.
Sa mga taga Baguio, mabuhay tayong lahat.